Sometimes, when I make a great effort, I can remember her scent, the sweetness of her breath. Serena. Serena? Why can't I see you more clearly? Why can't I even remember? This was taken on that crisp winter night at our mutual friend's hunting lodge. We came back indoors, laughing, giddy as teenagers. It was truly like an enchanted time, like we were in a magic circle where no sorrow or pain could touch us. My love, we don't have a lot of photos of ourselves as a couple, so this one is quite important. The guy who snapped this, our host that night, used an actual film camera. It was a different world back then. My love, we don't have a lot of photos of ourselves as a couple, so this one is quite important.
3, 2, 1.
The furniture came with the cabin. Considering how off the beaten path this place is, that helped make up our mind. Sometimes she would brush her leg against mine under the table when we were eating. A curious, sensual thrill. The table is worn but sturdy, just like our relationship was. Or is. I just don't know anymore. Our dining table. Quite modest, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I could tell plenty of stories about this table. To be honest, I'm surprised it's still in one piece. The dining table was well worn even when we acquired the cabin. You could tell from its appearance that it had been the centerpiece of many happy occasions. And there were many more to come. Our dining table. Quite modest, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So this is Serena, which is already horrendously voice acted, if I say so myself.
Come, love, with peace in your heart, said Niamh of the ice-blue eyes. Blue. It's based on an Irish folktale. Warrior poet O'Sheen goes to Tirnanog, a Celtic otherworld known as the Land of Youth and Promise. Niamh is of the Fey folk, the fair ones, fairies. Weird mix of doggerel and artistry. The elemental imagery is evocative, but the language and structure are a bit quaint. Still, some lines jump out at you. I've always been drawn to things that are kind of both good and bad at the same time. Maybe because that's so like life. My grandma introduced me to these old legends when I was just a kid, in between stories of what she could still remember of her childhood in the old country. Weird mix of doggerel and artistry. The elemental imagery is evocative, but the language and structure are a bit quaint. Still, she made this with her own hands. She was really good.
Did you murder her and put her in the trunk of your car?
Look what I made, hun, in case we ever need to sweep something under the carpet.
That's a knee slapper.
See the pattern of yellow squares? It's from this rug I remembered from my nursery. I must have been like 3 or 4, but it always stuck with me.
No trap door under there, just more creaky floor. I always resisted the temptation to sweep things under there when it was my turn to tidy up.
The rug's all crooked again. Can you help me straighten it out?
No trap door under there, just more creaky floor.
Did we I'm sorry, are we in like Silent Hill or somewhere? Are we reliving your past mistakes?
Quite a large armoire for our admittedly Spartan needs. She uses most of it.
Are you sure?
We all have our skeletons in the closet, but not Serena. She was perfect.
Now she's dead, I'm assuming.
I'm not sure why, but I don't feel like opening it. The sole thought of it drains what little energy I have left in me. Maybe later. There's nothing of interest inside the closet anyway.
Are you sure it's not her dismembered corpse?
I'm a casual dresser. No need to change clothes right now. She used to keep magazines, paperback novels, usual stuff on these nightstands when we were staying here.
Good night, love.
She would always bring her reading material like I did. Why are these nightstands so empty? Dust everywhere. The amount of dust on it might make me hack up a lung. It's full of little scratches and gouges. Dust everywhere. The amount of dust on it might make me our refuge from the world. A place of warmth and passion. Sometimes we joked we needed to be so far out in the woods because that's how our sex life was. Far out.
Oh my god.
The furniture came with the cabin, but the bedclothes we brought with us. A place like this needs some luxury, but without her, there are no monsters under the bed. I guess they're all in my head.
I still think we're in Silent Hill.
I feel too restless to sleep right now. The clock is a trophy from our flea market adventures. Chalk this particular purchase up to every cabin needs one. The ticking begins to feel homey after a while. The first night was a nightmare, though. Time never mattered much to us while we were hiding from the rest of the world here. As long as we were together and happy.
The happiest thing I've ever seen.
The clock has always been rather autonomous. No matter how many times we've wound it up, it keeps going out of sync. Actually, I think it might have gone out of sync again. No trusting this clock. I wonder what time it is. As if it mattered. The clock has always been rather autonomous. No matter how many times we've wound it up, it keeps going out of sync.
Really? The one thing we can interact with is like, I don't feel like it. Can you pick up anything, or are we just admiring?
Dearest, how do I say any of this? I like your way with words, but if I don't write this, I don't know what I'll do. My life feels so unreal now, dreamlike, but wonderfully so. Let me try, even if clumsily. The hours I spent with you when we last met are precious to me. I was so lost such a short time ago. Everything seemed drained of color and feeling. I think we were meant to find each other, to bring meaning to our lives again, make sense of the confusion shrouding both of us. When we stepped into the crystal silence of the snowy woods, away from the chatter of the guests, all nature seemed expectant, as if holding its breath, witnessing a rare moment of something infinitely better than what life in the ordinary run of things has to offer. Do you remember how the light crust of the snow glittered in the reflected light of the country house? How the copse of trees in which we walked was haloed with a magical aura? I felt the chill of the night air, and you opened your coat and enfolded me in your arms, and we hugged tight, sharing the warmth, sharing the only thing any of us have to share on this earth when you think about it. And then you toppled us on the snow, you devil. We laughed and rolled around, my head already spinning from the wine and crisp, pure night air and the stillness all around. We lay back, and I gasped when I realized what I was seeing. The luminous starscape, like a vast velvet cloth sprinkled with powdered sugar, like it can only be seen in the countryside. I had tears in my eyes when I turned to you and we kissed, and it felt like the only moment in all of time, or outside time, and ours was the only spark that could ignite the universe. You gave me these moments. You complete me in ways I never knew to dream of. Let me be the one who makes sense of the confusion whenever you feel lost again. We can make our own world against the rest of the world if need be. Together we can silence all the demons, heal all the wounds. I love you. In eternity yours, Serena.
Dear merciful God, kill me.
I still can't understand. Even the features of her face feel hazy and distant, like remnants of a broken dream.
That's fascinating. I still think we're in Silent Hill.
There's a strand of blonde hair in the comb. Yes, blonde hair like sun rays. I'm remembering.
Good for you.
What's wrong with my memory? Did I have a stroke?
I can only assume.
She also had a brush, but I can't see it anywhere. Nor some of her other personal items. It's just a regular comb bought from a supermarket, new enough to still have all its teeth. She also had a brush, hers. I used it too, when shaving. There's only an outhouse, and for some reason, whoever erected the rickety thing didn't think to include wall-to-wall mirrors. So, this came in handy. Should I dust for fingerprints? I might if I were in a detective story.
I can only hope that some serial killer comes in here and chops your head off with an axe.
After all these years, it permanently smells of her and her perfume.
God.
The last thing I need now is to see myself in the mirror. I must look awful. There's dust on this, too. It's everywhere. These keys are for the cabin and the car. If the keys are here, does she have her spare? I should probably stay here in case she doesn't. Did she even have her own spare? We also have a key for the outhouse, but can't be bothered to keep it anywhere other than under that rock next to the thing. No one comes here anyway.
I'm not sure we're not playing the serial killer.
Evidence, Serena's favorite perfume. I've always told Serena that she doesn't need to wear perfume. Her presence is magical enough already. It smells so elegant. There's violet leaf and silk tree blossom, I think. This perfume is perfect for Serena. Why didn't I ever notice?
I don't know. Why didn't you?
I'm generally not fond of taking medication. I find it hard to believe ingesting a few chemicals will do me much good in the long run.
Don't forget your pill, hun. I know you'd rather not, but you know it's for the best.
Beta blockers. I have high blood pressure. I'm only supposed to take these before meals. Not a big fan of them. They do tend to alleviate my headaches, though. Beta blockers. I'm only supposed to take these before meals. Not a big fan of beta blockers. I'm only not a big fan of them. They do tend to alleviate my headaches, though. I always resisted the temptation to sweep things under there when it was my turn to tidy up.
No comments on this? None? You've been so talkative about every stupid other fucking thing in this house. I'm surprised you don't have a riveting story to tell me about the children, the two children in sweaters, and the almost naked one in a bathtub or a sink. Nothing? You got nothing?
So many afternoons spent in this armchair.
Come sit with me. I want to talk. And cuddle.
What did we talk about? Damn this fallible memory of mine.
I think you have Alzheimer's.
The most comfortable spot in the cabin. Well, along with the bed, of course. I can imagine her cuddling up to me even now, putting her hand under my shirt. Of course, we made love here, too. There was no place in the cabin we didn't before things deteriorated.
Probably deteriorated because you're a creepy motherfucker.
The most comfortable spot in the cabin. Well, along with the bed, of course. So much wisdom and happiness in this bookcase. My life would have been much poorer without all this. The smell of old books is intoxicating. What happens to wood pulp as it ages gives it that distinctive vanilla smell. I loved it when we took down one of my favorites and curled up on the bed to read together as the wind howled outside on cold winter nights. Most of the books are mine, but all of hers are still here too. A lot of rarities and special editions here. I didn't lend out my Necronomicon, did I? No, of course not.
You know, the delivery of this guy, I'm not sure if he actually has a Necronomicon.
Most of the books are mine, but all of hers are still here too. Sharing meals with a good red wine was one of the great pleasures in our relationship, especially in the intimacy of this cabin. We had such a wonderful time dining in this cabin. Serena loved to experiment with her cooking.
Yeah, she even shoved a carrot in my ass one time.
I should probably eat. Can't remember the last time I ate, yet I don't feel hungry.
I think you're a ghost.
I have more pressing things on my mind right now than culinary exploits. I could tell plenty of stories about this table. To be honest, I'm surprised it's still in one piece.
Oh, did you fuck on it too?
The dining table was well worn even when we acquired the cabin. You could tell from its appearance that it had been the centerpiece of many happy occasions, and there were many more to come. Our dining table, quite modest, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, nothing says homie like two creepy as fuck paintings, you weirdo. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but if you don't shut up about the intimacy, I'm gonna come in that game and kick your ass.
No, I don't want to leave right now. There's still something for me in here.
There is? You sure?
Something draws me to this trunk. Is it the memories locked within? Or something else?
This better not be a jump scare.
We use this trunk to store trinkets and papers, but I can't help thinking there's something of importance inside. It's too painful. I want to, but not yet. We found this trunk at a flea market. We used to love rummaging around those in our early years. Big enough for a lifetime of mementos.
Uh-huh.
We hated guns, so we never had any, even out here. But this would have been a good place to keep one, since it can be locked. We found this trunk at a flea market. Big enough for a lifetime of mementos. I've always loved the hazy afternoon shades of this place. It's deep into summer, so there's a few hours left until it gets dark. The sunlight is so bright here. In other circumstances, this would have been the perfect afternoon for us. There's a crack in this window from a tantrum she threw some time ago. It wasn't the only thing she threw. Not exactly perfect soundproofing. The sunlight can be confusing, oppressive, as if pregnant with some ill omen. Or is the stress finally catching up with me? The sunlight is so bright here. In other circumstances, this would have been the perfect afternoon for us.
Oh.
The rug's all crooked again. Can you help me straighten it out?
Don't think Serena would approve of me making an even bigger mess of the clothes in here. Maybe later. There's nothing of interest inside the closet anyway.
You sure? Might keep her severed head in here?
She is fairly religious. Not me. I'm the cold and cynical bastard. But I don't remember that ever being an issue between us. She always thought our relationship was a blessing. God, how I miss her. No longer the cynical asshole, I guess.
It's funny!
Her faith came as a surprise to me. She was never prudish about sex, so I just didn't expect it. I guess people simply aren't that predictable. No, I don't want to read right now. Especially not a Bible. I have no need for the words in there. I don't feel like being admonished by a deity right now. She adored all things of nature. I remember her long walks out in the woods. Curiously, we never brought many plants inside the cabin. We were surrounded by so many outside, and I guess we were saturated by them. At least I was. Maybe I should have let her bring some plants inside. She liked them a lot. A plant is a plant, beautiful to some, boring to others. They say these things are alive. If they are, it must be a horrible existence, confined in their own silent, dark world.
Well, yeah, when you lock them in a, I don't know, a little small nightstand, of course.
We have much more interesting things than this plant inside the cabin, like my books. A plant is a plant, beautiful to some, boring to others. And no trap door under there, just more creaky floor.
Keep hoping I keep hoping that
I better stay in case Serena comes back.
Yeah.
There's always a chance she might return. There's nothing for me out there. This door has been creaking for years. One of the many things I promised I would fix. I have this gut feeling that I shouldn't leave just yet. There's nothing for me out there.
There's nothing for you out there, there's nothing for me in here. One of us has to give. You have no comments on this. You've given me, like, a miniature fucking novel series on just stupid things. You had about 15 sentences to say about a plant in a nightstand. You don't have anything to say about this? Nothing? Nothing at all? How creepy it is?
This window never got much attention. Then again, the view isn't nearly as spectacular. Priorities, right? I guess it's covered with grease and grime from cooking, mostly. There's probably nothing out there that I want to see, anyway. All the stuff I care about is inside. Well, except for Serena. I can make out nothing through this window. There was a time, long ago, that all this disrepair felt oddly homey. All the windows are drafty, but like everything else, we just got used to it. We liked it, even. I can make out nothing through this window. I can imagine her cuddling up to me even now, putting her hand under my shirt. A lot of rarities and special editions here. I didn't lend out my Necronomicon, did I? No, of course not. Most of the books are mine, but all of hers are still here too. A lot of rarities and special editions here.
I don't, what do you want from me? Oh, boy. This is how I imagine Alan Wake would be if it was 1,000 times more boring. No. Okay.
The guy who snapped this, our host that night, used an actual film camera. It was a different world back then. My love. We don't have a lot of photos of ourselves as a couple, so this one is quite important. The guy who snapped this, our host that night, used an actual film camera. It was a different world back then. My love.
Is it my imagination, or are you using even more these days?
She had a point. I am on medication for blood pressure, after all. I'm determined to make a change when she comes back. Yes, no more indulgences. I want to do things right. It's not the healthier type, just regular table salt. I always planned to switch to mineral or sea salt, but then I always ended up buying the regular stuff. Doctors, they always overreact. I must be even more exhausted than I realize. Here I am staring at a salt shaker, My thoughts a million miles away. Lonely Hearts Club Band. Pig and Pepper. Alice in Wonderland. All these associations, links, plays on words. My head is full of them, and it never stops.
Yes, I could sure use some pepper today. God, I'm so bored.
It's just a pepper shaker, really. We got this set from that clearance sale, however long ago that was, yet we never needed to refill it. I didn't notice this before. It reads, "Contents imported from Ceylon." How old is this stuff? It's just a pepper shaker, really. I know it's my general state of mind, but I feel even more depressed near this armoire. Guess I can't shake off the memory of my sweet Serena trying on her various garments.
Be honest, does this dress show too much cleavage? I want only one pair of eyes on me.
How I miss her naked back when she was standing by this armoire. The perfect curve of her neck, her firm bottom. I'm a casual dresser. No need to change clothes right now. Don't think Serena would approve of me making an even bigger mess of the clothes in here. Why? I might just as well stay here. I should really stay. I'm so tired anyway. I prefer the darkness inside right now. This door has been creaking for years. One of the many things I promised I would fix. As always, I automatically went to the window side, and she took the one by the armoire. Some of her scent still lingers. What's the matter with me? I can't seem to remember even ordinary things. When was the last time we made love?
I don't know, probably 10 minutes ago.
Maybe if I go to sleep, I will wake up, and there she'll be, arms wrapped around me, the warm and passionate touch of her lips. But I can't sleep. It feels as if I've been awake for ages. I don't sleep well without Serena next to me. Both a blessing and a curse, I suppose. There are no monsters under the bed. I guess they're all in my head. I feel too restless to sleep right now. We seem to take fewer and fewer walks as the years went by. Everything around here is so familiar. Everybody thinks that living out in the middle of a dark, dense forest is so romantic. Nothing but you and nature. Serena and I thought so too, once. That is, until the loneliness kicked in. Why did we choose this place? We were both so young and spontaneous. Why did we suddenly decide we should let our love wither away in a still life? There's a crack in this window from a tantrum she threw some time ago. How long has it been, I wonder? I can't tell. And I miss her so much. That ticking. It never stops. I've wasted so much time in my life. Did I ever take a break to show her how much I truly cared? Actually, I think it might have gone out of sync. Again.
What?
Do you remember how the light crust of the snow glittered in the reflected light of the country house?
When did the color fade from these lampshades? That's why we liked them in the first place. There's enough light already.
Are you, like, okay, dude?
Could you take this out and beat it, love? It's getting a bit dusty.
It's one of the few decorative things here. We weren't much of homemakers, either of us. I remember us washing it properly in the lake many summers ago. Once. I always resisted the temptation to sweep things under there when it was my turn to tidy up.
Maybe you want to go into the trunk now?
Is there anything worse than beautiful memories turning to dust?
Cancer. Giant centipedes. Bobbit worms. The sun exploding. Black holes. Necromorphs. Zombies. Zombie tigers. Zombie lions. Zombie bobbit worms. Zombie centipedes. Taxes. eBay.
I feel like I don't even have the strength to lift the lid.
Oh, you're draining me of all my strength.
What once gave me so much joy now fills me with unbearable sorrow. We hated guns, so we never had any, even out here. But this would have been a good place to keep one, since it can be locked. We found this big enough for a lifetime of mementos. Years passed, no tears fell, no death knell reached the golden shores they trod. Another love story without a happy ending. Time works differently in the other world.
Ha ha!
She's gone, and even then I just keep reading. But it's always been my way of looking for answers, processing information. I can think of worse ways. I've always been drawn to things that are kind of both good and bad at the same time. Maybe because that's so like life. All those moments we sat at this table, laughing, smiling, or simply looking in each other's eyes. Will we have them again someday?
You will have them again once you prop her corpse from that stupid chest and put her in the chair.
This table has seen many happy times. The meals we shared, or when we just used to stay up late with a bottle of wine and talk. Oh, how we talked. I sure hope she comes back soon. We can sit down and discuss our problems, like we always did. We could always work things out. I could tell plenty of stories about this table. To be honest, I'm surprised it's still in one piece. It's different. But that just... it can't be different. Am I going mad? Somehow she looks sadder than I remembered. Could I really have been so wrong about that night? We don't have a lot of photos of ourselves as a couple, so this one is quite important.
Oh boy.
Without any activity, the corner feels cold and lifeless. I'd give anything to see her standing here again, making coffee or sandwiches. I made my own too, of course, but it just made me happy to see. When she was happy, she'd hum her favorite songs as she puttered around. I can't remember the last time. The stove looks like something from World War I. Considering how basic and ancient the kitchen is, it's a wonder what we managed to do with it from time to time. Well, she mostly.
Feeling peckish, dear?